This is an award, and I'm going to say some other things, but I do want to say at this point, this is an award to Lisa, to myself, but this is an award to the people you saw on the screen. People who crawled up those steps. You know they were hurting, but they cared deeply about their cause. This is an award for thousands of other people who suffered and were afflicted and who were agonized and who were angry and who were determined, who came and talked to members of Congress and said, "This is my life. And I want you to know, Congressman or Congresswoman, what I confront on a daily basis that shuts me out." America, of course, is about opportunity. To have opportunity, you have to enter, whatever that is entering means. And so this award is really to those thousands of courageous, committed people who made this happen, who said, like Martin Luther King, there's a fierce urgency of now. That's what that young man said. What's wrong with 24 hours? What he was saying is, it's the right thing to do. Do it. Do it now. And Steve Bartlett's comments about what we needed, what it did was it galvanized people, because they knew this was not just some do-gooder movement, some few members of Congress who wanted to please some people. They were convicted of the fact that this was a broad-based, abled and disabled, who had joined together to say, it is time for America, who hold these truths to be self-evident, to make sure that inclusion is part of our democracy for all. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the Bazelon group for its work. And I want to say you have chosen a wonderful, wonderful leader. I came to Congress 180 years ago. Maybe not quite that long. But I came to Congress in 1981, some 45 years ago. There was a young, brilliant man working for Speaker Tip O'Neill. And those of us who had a brain in their head said, that's a guy we got to know, because A, he knows what's going on, B, he knows how to respond to what's going on, and B, he is open to telling us and teaching us. And his name was Kirk. And he had a daughter, and her name was Holly. Holly, thank you so much for your leadership. Your dad, I know, is so proud of the efforts that you are making, because, you know, when you pass a bill, it really doesn't mean anything until thousands of people work to implement that bill, to make it reality, not just words on a page. I worked with George H.W. Bush and his council in passing the ADA. Now, it was said that I was the major sponsor. The major sponsor, from my perspective, was a guy named Tony Coelho. Tony Coelho left the Congress, and I will be forever grateful that Tony called me into his office. He was then whip, which I became at some point in time, and as a matter of fact, took that same office. And he said, Steny, I'm going to leave the Congress. But as you know, I have a passion for making sure that we pass the Americans with Disabilities Bill. And you're going to get it done. He didn't say I had an option. He didn't say, you know, will you do it? he said, you are going to get this done. And so I took it as a responsibility. But what he did was give me the opportunity to work with extraordinary people. What he did was give me the opportunity to do something that when I leave the Congress in 2036, that I will look back on this legislative accomplishment as the greatest accomplishment I have made in 60 years of public service. Not because I did it, but because I got to meet the people who did do it. And there's so many of you in this room. These are the times that try men's souls. That's what Thomas Paine said. Today he would have said, these are the times that try men and women's soul. Or if he was even more enlightened, he would say, these are the times that try women's and men's soul. Lisa Blunt Rochester is shaking her head vigorously. I want to say something about Lisa Blunt Rochester. I'm so pleased to be honored with her. I don't know how many of you know Lisa Blunt Rochester, but she is a woman full of warmth, full of joy, full of love, full of service. She is an extraordinary person. I love Lisa Blunt Rochester. I'm privileged that I had the opportunity to serve with her. And the citizens of Delaware had the good sense, and the citizens of Maryland had good sense to send two new members, two new women members to the United States Senate, and they're doing an extraordinary job. Congratulations, Lisa. I think if I start reading this, Quinn, I'm going to go way over time, so I'll just continue. I want to mention a name that hasn't yet been mentioned, Orrin Hatch. Because when we did the response to the Supreme Court, which inexplicably said that, well, you really had to be a life-changing disability. Now, if civil rights legislation is about perception, you're the wrong color, so you're not able. Baloney. You're the wrong gender, so you're not able. Baloney. And the Supreme Court said you really had to be, not just that somebody said, I think you're disabled and therefore I'm not going to hire you. That's what civil rights legislation is about. And we changed that. Orrin Hatch, a Republican in the United States Senate, chairman of the Judiciary Committee at that point in time, was very, very helpful. A guy named Sensenbrenner, whose wife had a disability, was a huge advocate. We worked together, not as Republicans and Democrats, but Americans who cared about our fellow citizens. These times try our souls because we are acting too much like a yo-yo. And I refer to some of people in the Congress as yo-yos. You're on your own. That's not America. In America, we are together. We are to lift up, to reach out, to make sure that people are included in our democracy, in our economy, in our churches, in our lives. That's what the ADA means. And so I appreciate everybody in this room because I know so many of you were extraordinarily helpful in that effort. And when George H.W. Bush signed that bill, you know, George H.W. Bush was an R. And George W. Bush was an R. R stands for rational. They knew that everybody's rights were critically important. And they served as if they believed that. And they signed bills, one, the ADA, the other, the amendments. So I want to thank you. It's a great honor for me but it was a great honor for me to work with all those who made the ADA reality. It has made extraordinary progress. But there's a young woman, many of you, I'm sure, named Joyce Bender in the room. Joyce, where are you? Joyce is here. We have made progress in so many different ways, but we have not made enough progress in employment and independent living. And we need to keep working. Our job is not yet done. So, Bazelon, I'm with you for the next few steps. Maybe even longer than that, but as long as I have steps to take, I'm with you. God bless you. Godspeed.